Good morning, buenos dias. Hope you're having a good afternoon or evening, and I hope you're having a great day. Are you ready? Let's do this. This is our second video for Are We Cool? Our fourth chapter so far. Okay, so we last left off on this slide 3, and what we want to learn in this chapter is number 1, what do we need to study to know if our environment has a problem? This chapter we want to learn about competition and if it leads to stress for species, humans and animals in nature. This chapter we want to study the spread of disease and how that affects populations. And then finally, we want to know how many people might be too many people for our planet. So we're going to study human population and problems with too many people maybe. So remember, as we study this chapter, as we study Are We Cool? Let's remember we want to learn more about these 4 science problems for this chapter. All right, let's move on. Let's go to slide 4. Slide 4, we are going to watch a video, and we're going to use this video to complete these 6 things here, okay? So let's watch the video. So in this YouTube video, and it was made by, let's see. This video is provided by NYU. That's probably New York University, Stern Urbanization Project. So they provided this, and we're going to watch it. So the video is going to start in the year 1877. You're going to see it go from 1877 to the present time. So it starts at 1877, and it's going to go all the way to 2000. So it finishes in the year 2000. So from 1877 to the year 2000. So it spans about 123 days. 123 years. So let's watch it as it changes 123 years in Los Angeles. So it's studying Los Angeles. Study the pattern. We're in the 1900s now. So I'm going to pause it real quick. So I'm pausing the video right at 10 seconds. I want you to know that this right here, the more you see is the more people living in Los Angeles. So if you go back, in 1877, there was a little bit of people, small population. And then if you go to 10 seconds, you can see more people, a bigger population. So in 1927, the population is bigger. The darker it is, the more people live close, so high density. So the dark areas are where people are living very closely, and there's lots of people. The lighter red means people are more spread out. So the darker the area, the more the people are living really closely together. Study the population. How is the population changing? People are spreading out. There's more and more people spreading out. Los Angeles is getting bigger, and more people are living there and living further and further away. So they're growing. So the original population just lived in 1878. There was just a small population in Los Angeles. In 2000, you can see people are living way spread out. There's many people living in different neighborhoods. And you can see that they've spread out, and some areas are very dark because lots of people live very closely in those areas. So that's a very urban or city areas. Here, where it's lighter, people are more spread out. They don't live so close together. So we want to use this video and learn from it and do some science. So step 1, the first thing you need to do to complete this page is you need to turn to your scientific strategies. It's on page 36. So you're going to be using your scientific strategies on page 36 to help you do the rest, okay? It looks like this. So you glued this onto your page 36. We have 2 here. Let me get rid of one. But you basically have this glued in onto your page 36. And you can see it says scientific strategies. So if we follow these steps, we do good science. So use this on page 36 to help you think about the next slide. So we want to create a problem, we want to create a hypothesis, and we want to ask ourselves a good problem that would help us learn more. So we want to create a problem, we want to create a hypothesis, and we want to create a new problem later on that helps us think through it even more. Okay? So these aren't very easy. So we're going to go to slide 5, and in slide 5 we'll do some notes together, okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, so here we are on slide 5. Slide 5 is here to help you if you're doing this on the video and not in class. So it's hard. So if we were together, it'd be much easier in class, and we'll talk and do our own things. But I'll kind of create a structure for you to work through here to make it easy. First of all, again, I want you to pay attention to your page 36, Scientific Strategies. And it looks like this, right? So you have page 36, you glued it in. It says determine the problem. That's what we want to do for step 1. We want to determine a problem. So to help you, I just created my own problem. So in your notebook for slide 5, write. So copy down slide 5 in your notebook and then write the problem. Step 1, problem equals. How do we make sure the growing secondary consumer population of LA receives enough food or energy? Notice I use the word secondary consumer. And we go back to our pyramid here. And in this example, I'm calling humans part of the secondary consumers. Now, any animal that eats another animal is a secondary consumer. But most of us eat other animals, so I'll include us. So let's call us secondary consumers. Just like when we watched this video, we saw our population growing and expanding. So our secondary consumer level as humans is increasing a lot in LA. So the question is if we do have a growing population in LA, and if we keep spreading out and we become more dense and living more closely, how can we make sure that LA receives enough food or energy for us as secondary consumers? How can we make sure that we as secondary consumers get enough food? So that's the mystery. Can we all? Or someday will there be too many of us? That's the question, right? So that's the problem. So copy that down, the problem right here. All of this for step 1. And you have step 1 right here, right? Okay, the second step, or step 2, let's check it out. It says step 2, create an initial or starting hypothesis. So a first or initial hypothesis. So, and I did that right here. I have this step 2, and I created a little sentence structure to help us. So if you could right now, go ahead and pause the video and copy down this sentence starter. Okay, copy this sentence starter down, but just make sure you leave the blanks big so you can fill in as much as you need to. Because sometimes I write the blanks small to help you, but make them big enough. All right, it says, hypothesis equals, I'm confident that Los Angeles or LA, what kind of consumers are we? You fill that in the blank. And then you have to decide, do you think secondary consumers will or will not receive enough food or energy? So you need to choose one of these as your hypothesis and circle it, or erase one and keep the other. So you would, in your hypothesis, write, I'm confident the LA blank consumers will, choose will, or choose will not. Not both. Only one. And you're either going to say that you're confident that LA consumers will, or you're confident that LA consumers will not. You decide. If you think that we will get enough food or energy, you would focus on adaptations here. Okay, so you see it's color-coded. So will, then you have color-coded adaptation variables here. This is going to help you soon, all right? So if you're thinking that we will be able to survive and get enough food, you're going to focus on these two options here. And if you choose for your hypothesis that we will not receive enough food or energy, these are possible limiting variables that are explaining why you think not. Maybe you think the climate will change too much. Maybe cause droughts. Maybe you think the cost of feeding everybody will be too great. Or maybe you think with us spreading out, there will just not be enough space. Like we're just taking up too much places to grow food or farm or raise cattle or meat. So you're going to think, if you think we will survive and get enough food, focus on adaptations. And if you think we won't, focus on limiting variables. So as you decide to choose will or not, that's your choice, just choose one. You're going to say receive enough, and then you choose which one you prefer here. Do you prefer to use the word food or energy? But choose one of them. So you either choose food or energy, but not both. All right. I'm confident the LA blank consumers, us right here, will or will not receive enough food or energy because, and what do you think? Do you think it's one of these options? So in this blank right here, so this blank, you're going to use one of the ideas for will not, or one of these ideas here for will. For example, I could say I'm confident the LA secondary consumers will receive enough food because farming technology will support the population. That was an example. Or you could say, I'm confident the LA secondary consumers will not receive enough food because climate change will not support the population. So you see, you just use these ideas to complete the sentence. And again, it's just a hypothesis, and it's only an initial or first try hypothesis. All right, step 3 here. Let's see what step 3 is all about. It says seeking evidence. So it says complete any work remaining to help you build greater knowledge. So what we need to do is we should ask ourselves some more questions about the problem and about what we've learned. Let's ask something specific that might help us find something that we can use to learn more about the hypothesis. So what I would do is, which one of these things do I want to learn more about so I can find out if my hypothesis is right? And that's all you got to do. And that's step 3. And all you're doing here is, how will blank help or harm LA's growing population? So which one of these, a limiting variable here, or one of the adaptation options, farming technology or the Los Angeles County government, which one, these or this, just choose one of them, that you would like to learn more about, that's going to help you learn more about the hypothesis, okay? Now, by choosing it, you're going to write it in the blank here, and then you have to decide, do you think it's helping or do you think it's going to harm? So choose one of these options. And then just remember, you're asking yourself this question, this whole problem here, you're asking yourself this so you can try to learn more about your hypothesis and hopefully figure out what the good support for it will be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in your notebook, write slide 6. So this is slide 6, and we have a definition. And just in case you can't read this, this says succession. So it says new populations of organisms arriving in a new area or disappearing from an area can cause succession. Remember, succession was change to an environment. So one example is if termites, they live in the ground, but if termites live in the soil, sometimes when they dig in the dirt, it provides moss, this green plant, this autotroph, a new place to grow. So they take a bunch of dirt and put it up on the ground, and they kind of build it up in a big hill. So it's a hill of dirt, and the termites do this. But when they bring up all the dirt to the surface, it allows new plants to grow in it. If it allows new plants to grow there, it means succession has happened. Also, think about this. As people are living in LA, we're changing or causing succession in the LA area as more and more people move here. So new populations cause succession. Now that's slide 6, right? All right, we're about out of time, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is, this is slide 7. In our next slide, we will, I'll show you how to do it, okay? I'll show you how to complete slide 7. So that'll be our next video notes, slide 7. So have a great night, guys. I hope you're studying hard, and I hope this makes sense, and I hope you're feeling confident. All right, have a great day.